Hello everyone, JamieStarr here for the New World News Network. Make sure you subscribe, check the links below. On my music channel, I just uploaded a full album of little demos that I had been recording and doing live on YouTube, so make sure you check that out. You can also download it all at echoscaperecords.bandcamp.com. So now, into the important stuff. This is probably one of the most important and biggest news stories you are going to not hear this summer. And it is all of these hacks going on. The DNC was hacked by Russian hackers, showing their strategy against Trump. You also have Black Lives Matter leaders trying to get martial law before the elections to stop Trump. This came out in D-Ray's account being hacked. Someone called Verizon pretending to be him and was able to get the info for his Twitter and his phone messages, and they were able to pull this conversation. Even myself, in the past month, I've had one attempt on my Twitter, 2 on my email, and 1 on my Facebook. So hacking is going on all over the place right now. Here you see, if we can get both conventions shut down, over Bernie and having racist Trump to get martial law declared so Obama can stay in office, we will win. This is their plan. This is their strategy. And the idea of a third term of Obama has even been discussed in Congress. Congressmen have talked to one another about it, asking if he hasn't enforced laws like the immigration laws, why should we think that he's going to enforce voting laws and the election laws? And people scoff at this idea. And I've mentioned it to people for probably years now at this rate, and people scoff at it. One of the things to keep in mind that has kind of fallen out of the collective conscious of, things going on, the youth brigades. When Obama first got into office, we saw all of these kids receiving this sort of Nazi youth-like training focused around Obama. Let's say a kid was 12 when they got into this program during the first Obama election, they would now be 20. So you now have these kids that were little kids ready to hit the streets and do what they do, receive orders, go out there. I mean, these would be the ones with a bandana over their face, throwing a bottle and setting some shit off. And this is obviously a strategy in their playbook. Like I said, the news, even the alternative media, has not really covered this, even though you've seen here Edward Snowden has come out and said a recent hack of D-Ray and Russian activists are showing their attempts to subvert the elections. There was also a Mark Zuckerberg hack that happened this very recently too, and that one I don't know if I necessarily buy. I think some of these are what they are. They're hackers trying to pull information for legitimate purposes like this. And then the Mark Zuckerberg one, I would think, because of his position, would be more along the lines to introduce a sort of, internet ID, what they're pushing for in Europe. Maybe biometrics, now that all the technology has cameras, they want to move to a biometric identification thing. I mean, these are fucking crazy times we are living through. The other thing is, it really shows you how we're in this sort of like sci-fi dystopia with the Orlando attacks. I mean, I have such a hard time processing this. When a Islamic terrorist act can happen, here you see how he was hacked. Wow, but I want to say this. When an Islamic terrorist attack happens, and the response is, this is America's fault, we need to take your guns. Let's think about this. If this was World War II, and the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, would the correct response be to lay down your arms? I'm sure there are some people that would say yes, put down your arms, throw up the white flag, don't drop the atomic bomb. But, I mean, this is a really ridiculous thing because, ISIS doesn't have a uniform. They're not a country. It's not the same kind of war. But we do have the war on terrorism, right? We're in a war with these people, with this ideology and everything. So, the idea that your enemy attacks you and then you disarm, really lays it out. everyone's intentions, whose side they're on, and everything like that. And if this is the direction we're going, it's going to only get worse. Obama even said that. More deaths, it's going to be worse. And now we're seeing that you have a group, because this is the thing. We were attacked by radical Islam, but who did they attack as the response? Their political enemies, the conservative, the religious right, anyone who's in that pro-America, umbrella, basically. And now we're going to see it from the Black Lives Matter group and everywhere else. You have all these groups that the left sits over, basically the underpart of their whole umbrella, and it is now all going on the offensive towards the religious right religious right, the right in general. And the only thing really fighting back against them is Trump. Now, I personally think there are things he's saying that are so far off the script that I really have a hard time imagining him being in on all of it, unless if this is some sort of mutual destruction plan, which is possible, but there needs to be a pushback. I say this all the time, but this shit has to be put into check, and these hacks are a big help as far as knowing the inside battle plan, but I think it's going to end up counted against us because it's going to give them an excuse to better regulate and control the internet. One thing to keep into perspective is these systems are all made by man, so man will always be able to outsmart the systems, so it's a complicated issue, but the most important thing is there is a martial law plan focused around canceling the election. Groups have it as a strategy, and it mentioned in the emails they're coordinating with Loretta Lynch and the State Department for this. Things are only going to get crazier, so everyone do what you can do to hope for the best and prepare for the worst, because it's so much to comprehend, and things are coming so quick, and that is also, I feel like, part of the strategy of all of this, to just overwhelm people. I have friends of mine who they've just had to completely turn away from politics and everything, and they're just like, I can't even handle it at this point, and it's troublesome to me because I see this as this is the most pinnacle moment in American history, rivaling the founding of the country. Rivaling the Civil War, too. I'm telling you, 100 years from now, when we look back and, you get the history of America the same way you get the history of everywhere else in school and everything, it's going to be like America was founded, there was the Civil War where the country divided, and then there was this, and there was what's going on now, because we see our whole complete rule of law, all of the traditions, everything just being dismantled. America's nationalism being destroyed for globalism, all of this stuff going on, and it's so much to take in that it's very hard to comprehend. But the overall impression you get, sadly, is we are heading into a dystopic future where up is down and down is right, and everything is the complete opposite of what you would expect. Because, like I said, terrorist attack, disarm the populace. No sense whatsoever. But I wanted to make a video, show that these hacks had happened, because this is some of the most important news you will not see this summer. And even alternative news sites, I haven't seen it on yet. So, hope everyone enjoyed. Make sure you check out that new album. Check the links below. Subscribe to the channel. I hope everyone has a good one.